Alright, well, I just noticed another one of these videos by another one of these little puke balls, these spitters. They're just spit little puke balls at people. They don't make arguments, they're just little puke spitters. That's all there is. You know, they're really quite disgusting. Little small-minded, desperate people who can't defend their beliefs, can't defend their ideology, so they just spit at other people's. So SlugMonkey has made a little garbage video. And so we'll play it because, you know, what else are we going to do?
Well,
he's also gotten really ugly. Yeah.
Hello everyone. I want to talk to you about something.
Yeah, no.
It's quite serious, and it's a bit, if you ask me, it's a bit strange, okay? I'm going to tell you what it is, alright? It's philosophy.
This is how he has a serious discussion in a 4-minute video, right? He calls it a serious discussion, serious subject. And yeah, he's just gonna, you know, talk a bunch of shit for 4 minutes.
Kind of encountered on the internet, okay? And it's
blah blah blah.
Being
blah blah blah.
Anti-natalism, alright?
Yeah, so this isn't a technique, right? So when to be serious, other people would maybe applaud this kind of bullshit video. This isn't a technique you're playing here where I'll pretend I don't even know what the word means, and it's just so, oh, it's like alien, you know, green acid slime, and just too bizarre and too weird. No, you're just playing a game here, a little word, a little inflection game.
Just a philosophy, I suppose, that draws a conclusion, okay, that giving birth, having children, procreating, etc., and any sort of associated interaction, whether that be family.
Oh, no. Don't go there. Now, why didn't you just stop at the description, okay? They're talking about procreating, all right? Now, let's not talk about the consequences of procreating, okay? Because, yeah, we've already talked about there's good stuff and there's bad stuff. So there's no point in talking about the good stuff, family and petting the puppy and, you know, rubbing your wiener and all of that shit, okay? There's no point in talking about that because we've already gone over that equation, okay? There's a difference between the stuff you're addicted to and the real suffering that people endure. And so let's just talk about the act of procreating. Does it have a rational justification? Is there a need it's serving besides your own subjective personal one that you've contrived out of culture? We know there's no genetic or biological one because that one nature's been duping us with. It gives us the desire to have sexual intimacy. It doesn't give us the desire to produce children. No animal in nature does that. No modern evolutionary theory is going to demonstrate that any animal in nature has ever fornicated with the purpose of creating young in their mind. That wasn't what was in their head. So anyway, so again, just cheat the argument by, you can't even paraphrase the argument fairly. You're just so unfair. You're so desperate.
Kids, possible deeply enriching, loving relationships and family.
Yes, lollipops and gumdrops and bouncy red ball. Yes, that means there'll be none of that stuff. It's true. But there'll also be no 6-year-olds dying of leukemia. There'll be no world wars. There'll be no AIDS, 10 billion people horribly, slowly dying. So what? So again, you want to get into the logistics. You want to start doing the real math. Well, then you're going to have to do a more serious video than this. All right? But that's not your technique. That's not your purpose. Your purpose is just to spit some puke on somebody else's opinion while providing absolutely no alternative theory of human purpose.
It's tightly binding each other, with each other, like they have done for, since the dawn of time.
Okay, that proves it, right? Because something has been done since the dawn of time, it means it's a good thing. So I guess that's why you're for eating animals and why you can't step above, you can't rise above your nature, right? So if slavery was still in place, you definitely wouldn't be fighting against it, because you'd just be saying, we've always had slaves, that's the way we do things, we've always beat our wives, that's the way we do things. I mean, this is just an idiot, this argument from fucking tradition is just so transparently, obviously stupid. So I should make a 4-minute video and introduce the video by this weird concept these people of complete duplicity have. You know, where they'll argue something based on because it's some sort of stupid tradition. You know, so if people ate, you know, something poisonous because they didn't understand what microbes were, or they sacrificed animals to a god, we should keep doing that because they did it in the past. Yeah, fail again, moron.
Yeah, it's part of our evolutionary makeup. Yeah.
No. Again, see, that's just a canard. It's part of our cultural traditions, human mentality. But no one's having kids because it's part of their evolutionary makeup. They're having kids as a deliberate act now, especially. We have the technology to stop it. I'm sure you've prevented the event from taking place for a reason. So we can perfectly separate sex from procreation now. So you just can't keep making this argument that we're genetically made. No, we're not genetically obliged. Okay, we might genetically have that functionality as a possibility. I'll make the example again. I have the capacity to make a good hard fist. Doesn't mean I have a right now to throw it anywhere I want.
That's all fine and well, yeah? And I think lots of us in our lives have many, many deep... You need to excuse me, I've got a dreadful cold.
Yeah, well, there's no excuse for a dreadfully awful, pointless video. I mean, you never even got to completing the paraphrase of the argument, which is the antinatalist argument, all right, that's a terrible imposition. It's a risk that you're imposing on somebody else, and that you have no reasoned, rational defense of the act beyond your own selfish gratification.
Never mind, we'll get over it. So, what we're saying ultimately is that there are some individuals that hold this very strange perspective, okay, described as being antinatalism, okay.
Well, I could make the counter argument then, okay, there's these people on Earth, these ugly people who wear Nike shirts, who have this strange perception that it's somehow fun, okay, to take a kid and tie him into a roller coaster, even if he doesn't want to ride on a roller coaster. And you put him on a roller coaster that has these little rickety tracks and little rotten boards, and it's going to be fun to watch the little kid scream as he's going down the hill and then feel better. Oh, thank God, I made it, I lived. And then he gets to the top of the hill and screams going down the hill again because he doesn't know whether he's going to live or die, and he doesn't know what kind of shit he's going to go through. And he might fly off, and and then when he flies off the track, they'll just say, "Oh well, let's not pay any attention to that one. We'll just put a new kid on the fucking roller coaster." So there's these strange, bizarre, sadistic, crazy motherfuckers who enjoy watching that. It's bizarre. Bizarre it is. It's goddamn bizarre.
That defines procreation, childbirth, and possibly even children as being unproductive, undesirable. And
well, you could have stopped at unproductive. That would have been okay-ish. Again, all they're saying is it's this incredibly high risk, and by some theoretical descriptions, for a zero-sum potential. Like the best you can do is you'll create something that won't make a mess it doesn't clean up. That you have some hope of that accomplishment. And if you're in a dirty, stinking, rotten environment, it might clean up some of the mess around it. But that's your best hope. So first it has to be born into a circumstance where there's something to clean up, or else it has to make a mess and then clean up its own mess. And that theoretically somebody could look at that and say, yeah, that's not very rational.
I think ultimately they should be extinguished within the human species. In other words, we should all...
Well, extinguished, again, is using a word like, where you're squirting bug spray on something and you're extinguishing it. Yeah, that it should not be, the experiment, the Frankenstein experiments should be discontinued until they're no longer Frankenstein experiments, until you know what the outcome is going to be, till you can control the outcome with some kind of reliability. You shouldn't be doing the experiment. That's the argument. I mean, I wish you would deal with the real argument, but of course you won't do that, because that's not your tactic, and that's not your intent. You're a propagandist, and you're a weak arguer, so you're going to resort to a bunch of, why don't you just, draw an ugly picture of us on a pamphlet, put horns on our head. You're just a hate monger.
Allow humanity to rot itself extinct. Um,
Oh my. And that now you could take that the next level and you could explain how extinction actually means anything. I mean, literally millions of species have gone extinct. Is there a tear somewhere? Is there a weep somewhere? Is there a knife in something's heart somewhere? Is there something writhing in pain somewhere because of that? So yes, we have a culturally embedded revulsion to this word extinction, but it doesn't mean anything in actual practical universal fact. It doesn't have a negative consequence. Okay, the only negative consequence is if the extinction is happening, as I stated, with a gun or a spray or some other thing. And the argument of the anti-natalist is that the simple solution is not to make the problem. And then there's nothing to have to squirt with your bottle.
I think it's a very strange opinion to hold, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, well, again, I think it's very strange for people to enjoy taking risks with other people's lives. I mean, I might enjoy it because I hate your guts. Okay, so I might enjoy a little video game where I could take a risk with the wise monkey. You know, I could have him jump across little crocodile heads that might eat him and, you know, put his head under a bus's wheel. Or throw him in some other circumstance where he's at a high risk of being destroyed. Yeah, so I could enjoy it because I hate you. So what's your people excuse for imposing it on your own kids? Imposing that risk on your own fucking kids? What's your excuse for that? I mean, I would enjoy, like I said, risk-taking with assholes. But I can't really understand how you enjoy risk-taking with things you profess to love. And it seems quite obvious that people don't really love their kids, right, Wise Monkey? I mean, you can figure out the math, can't you? I mean, this generation basically has stolen the next generation's money. They've picked it right out of their kids' pockets. They're basically sentenced their kids to work in slave camps, in gulags, to pay back the IOUs to the rich motherfuckers. They did that quite willfully and quite deliberately. The Fed didn't do it. Something else didn't do it. They voted to do it. All right? They voted to steal their kids' money. And you're going to talk to me about how much they love them? I fail.
Life is what you make it. If you want to...
Whatever, yeah, so it's wonderful, fantastic cliche. Means absolutely nothing. Thank you. I just love this. I'm going to argue a rational, well thought out, reasoned theory with a bunch of silly, cliche tripe. Yeah, bravo.
languish or bathe in a sort of quagmire of sadness. And view ultimately...
Well, whatever. Again, you keep making this argument as if anti-natalists are saying you should be miserable. That's not what they're saying. They're saying you shouldn't do this high-risk Frankenstein experiment. What you should do is go find some vagina to chase, or go find some Cheetos to chase, or some potato chips to chase, but don't be chasing your satisfaction through this next generation-y thing. Don't live your life through their risk. Alright, just let that one go and go bowling instead.
Everything as being nothing more than a sort of rack-like, torture chamberish reality.
Well, whatever. I mean, again, you want to deny the existence of assassin beetles or bugs or, praying mantises. You want to deny the existence of the carnage happening on the African plain every fucking day. You want to deny the existence of the third world for the human race. You want to deny the existence of the people living in cardboard boxes or less. You want to deny not only 1 in 100 people are college graduates. You want to deny all the truth of the existence of things on this planet. Fine. I'm not asking you to cry. I'm not asking you to be upset. I'm not asking you to do any of that shit. I'm just asking you to acknowledge the fact that this does have some indication of failure as an experiment. Okay? That it does have at least the appearance of a bit of a brokenness. I'm not asking you to be a miserable motherfucker. I'm asking you just to acknowledge that this is a very high-risk experiment that people conduct for completely subjective, goddamn personal motivations. It has nothing to do with being rational or reasonable or intelligent. It has to do with being a selfish motherfucker. Alright? Now I think you can acknowledge that truth without fucking goddamn shoving your head in the toilet and trying to kill yourself.
That's really up to you, but to campaign to actually
No, to just make an argument that this is the reality of the context of our existence, that we're basically heroin addicts, and it would be a really dumb idea to give your addiction to the next generation. There's just nothing to be accomplished here. We are chasing a need that doesn't need to exist. That is called a dilemma. All right, until you resolve that dilemma, you have no excuse for this crap of a rhetoric.
And make videos and engage in discussions that ultimately arrive at a conclusion that demands and advises and campaigns for women not to give birth, not to have children, not to enjoy family relationships. For old...
Well, whatever. You know, you could still enjoy relationships, yeah. But yeah, to not acknowledge that this is a risk experiment, to take the job. I mean, I don't. In the first place, even just saying enjoy. All right. I've said this before, but in my opinion, if somebody's enjoying rearing a child, they're doing it wrong. Okay? Because it's a huge responsibility, a monumental responsibility. And if it isn't causing you substantial angst and discomfort to try to figure out what the right thing to do is, then you're doing it wrong. Then you're doing it lazy and reckless, and you're being an irresponsible asshole.
People who dedicated their lives to their families, etc. too.
Oh, let's talk about the dedication of the South American peanut farmer or something who's just having a big pile of kids so they can work his fucking farm. Or because it's a Social Security policy, because at least maybe one of the 17 kids he had will make enough of a living, you know, to buy him somebody to wipe his ass in the old folk home. Let's not even get into this subject about all the usury that goes on among the human fucking goddamn race, you motherfucker. I mean, to sit there and just slough that off like it doesn't take place, like most humans aren't stuck in a horrible usury circumstance, is just such a pile of crap.
You know, not to have any company.
I mean, elitist crap. I mean, apparently you got family money, you know. So yeah, you're living in a different world than the average person. So you're just like the bishop, you know, looking at the pawns and saying, well, we can afford to lose some of them. Who the fuck cares? Fuck you.
And that children owe a great debt to their parents and their loved ones and their families.
Right. Again, let's do that analysis. All right. Let's do the analysis of the human race, and let's find out how many children really owe a debt to their fucking cunt parents. Yeah, but let's find out how many parents were doing more using. That the selfishness, that the act of indulgence was on their part, not the child's part. How many children have been slaves to the unfulfilled, unsatisfied ambitions of their silly, nonsensical, irrational, trivial parents?
And to campaign against that sort of social cohesion.
No, that sort of social bullshit. It's just a contrivance of dysfunctional, retarded, superficial, and cosmetic culture. Your leave it to beaver theory doesn't fucking exist in reality. It's not how the human race lives, butt shit.
There's something wrong.
With you.
Something really wrong.
With your broken logic. With your cheap ridicule.
That sort of perspective, to be perfectly honest with you.
Oh, whatever. To be perfectly honest, why don't you be really perfectly honest and just explain that you have absolutely no counter argument, none whatsoever. So all you can do is stick your tongue out at it. Oh, it's so disgusting and repulsive. I'll just make a face, and yeah, let's all just make a face, everybody. Just make a face. Yeah, you won't counter argue. You'll just make a face.
You know, as I say again, life is what you make it.
Ah, so the cliche twice. It's not even that good a cliche. It really isn't. I mean, to say it twice in one 4-minute video.
And there are some sad moments. I've got a sad moment at the moment. I've got a cold. I don't feel too good, yeah.
Again, trivialize the real suffering that goes on in the world. Just trivialize it. I have a cold. I got a stubbed toe. Look, there's a boo-boo on my finger. A little lump. Yeah, okay, yeah, just trivialize it. Trivialize it. You should be eaten alive by goddamn lions. And then you can tell me about your fucking cold while you're getting eaten alive by lions.
But in a few days' time, I'll feel a bit better.
Oh, lottie-dottie-dottie.
As a sort of allegory. In other words,
In other words, you're going to trivialize reality and turn it into some sort of Leave It to Beaver episode and so talk about how, see, look, everything works out. Beaver never gets cancer. Everybody lives happily ever after. It says so right on Leave It to Beaver. Everybody lives happily ever after. The Simpsons are still alive. None of them died. Yeah, South Park, they're all still 7 years old or whatever. One is 10 now. But yeah, everything's okay. It's all okay. They don't die.
logical perspective and interpretation of stimuli within reality and our ultimate interpretation of that introspectively. And also...
Oh, yeah, why don't you just do Professor Anton crap now, right? You're just going to say a bunch of babble. What the fuck was that shit?
or panoramic view with regards to our interactions with society as a whole change. It's a dynamic interaction. And to adopt a perspective that ultimately rots all human life as being unworthy and worthy ultimately of a self-induced extinction.
Yeah, how dare we judge the DNA, because it knows what it's doing. So you're just another one of these, you've admitted, you're not even an atheist, right? You don't know what the fuck's going on. You're too stupid to draw an obvious conclusion. We evolved over 4 billion years because a piece of chemistry, through no fault of its own, reproduced. And the mechanism was once engaged, the ball's impossible to stop. It's like a little supernova, or a little nuclear reaction. Once it starts, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. And the only way it can stop is sooner or later the little particles of it have to say, stop.
He reeks of a sort of maniacal bitterness at best.
Okay, well, I'm just going to call you a sadistic... lunatic. You enjoy watching children suffer. And if that isn't the reason why you want more kids in the world, it's because you want to molest them. So you either want to molest them or you enjoy watching them suffer. So I'll just use some preposterous rhetorics to insult your philosophy. Fine. Bravo. Brilliant argument. Fuck. You stupid dumb cunt.
And a sort of madness
Ugly.
or insanity.
Dub.
Or worse.
Cunt.
So,
Yeah, madness and insanity. Yeah, I think it's madness and insanity to take a risk with somebody else's life, especially if you don't hate them. You know, if you profess to give a fuck about them and to care about them and to love them, why would you risk their welfare? Why would you put them on a rickety roller coaster? Wouldn't you fix the roller coaster first? I mean, if you were a bird and you laid eggs, you just laid the egg on a branch. You didn't bother building a nest. You just laid the egg on a branch and you said, well, I'll let the next generation take care of the problem. I mean, it is just a bullshit excuse. We live in a fucking pigsty, and none of you fuckers will clean it up, okay? And when somebody finally says, well, it's time to tear down this shithole, okay, we've let you play the game for 10,000 years with your civilization, and you really haven't caught on. It's time to give it up. And ultimately, it doesn't matter anyway, because you're not climbing a real mountain. Okay? The DNA molecule has put you in a hole, and you're climbing your way out. Why would you play that game? Because you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to undo the deficit that was created in you. Again, make your rational argument defending drunk driving or defending heroin addiction. Because that's all this is, asshole. That's the argument you have to deal with, and it's the argument you're running away from as you're just spitting little pieces of puke.
hey guys, antinatalism. One fucked up philosophy.
Yeah, well, sure is a rational argument there. Risk-taking with children. One fucked up motherfucking sadistic goddamn philosophy. Phew, what fucking cunt lunatics. Man, oh man.
Thanks for watching. Ta-ta.
Yes, I love that little insincerity at the end. You know, when you do that stuff generically like that, you just diminish it. You do know that, don't you? It's like your niggetarian kind of thing. You're basically taking all the meaning out of niceties, okay, when you throw them out gratuitously. If you don't save the words "I love you" for the right moment, the words don't mean anything. If I'm with somebody, right, a girl, and she's saying "I love you" to the fucking clerk at the mall, and she's saying "I love you" at the doorman, and she's saying "I love you" at the car parker, she's saying "I love you" to every fucking body, then guess what? It's not going to mean anything when I hear her say it in my bedroom, right? So you're just turning this little happy face bullshit. You're just making the argument for me that human beings are just insincere pieces of shit. It is all veneer and facade. It doesn't have any depth. It doesn't have any meaning. It's all just some sadistic used car salesman, Brooklyn Bridge selling asshole. And you're a splendid example of the assholes that have the human race and the mess they're in. Bravo, shitty monkey. Yeah, enough of the video. I really hate these people. So we got Grave Tex, Barklord, who's talking shit all over the place, Dana Garrett. I mean, these are all blockables. I'm telling you, people, these are all people that deserve to be blocked. They're just talking shit everywhere. Wise Monkey. To be serious. Let's see, who else is on the shit list here? But anyway, these people. This Rose Bushy guy is just totally out of control. But anyway, fucking assholes. Yeah, I'll make a gesture. Fucking assholes. Oh. Yeah, but I've also provided the argument. That's the difference. I can make faces because I did what's required before you make the face, which is make the logical argument. Yeah, you can't just do the facey thing without the argument.